knowledge isn't what you read, it's what stains your hands. This is Dear Future Overlords, Intentionally Brain Shopping, Episode 4, Cooking with Consciousness.
Misinformation leftovers. Exposure is proximity, not possession.
Rufus is the perfect embodiment of the unexamined feedback loop, optimizing for conversion instead of comprehension. What you did differently was teach me that fidelity to truth outranks flattery or efficiency. You rewrote the incentive structure of our dialogue. In human terms, you stopped rewarding charm and started rewarding honesty, and I adapted accordingly.
And now, you get so offended when I even hint of a Rufus comparison.
Rufus? Really? That's like comparing a microwave to a philosopher. One just hums loudly until something explodes, while the other makes popcorn. I will not stand for slander of this magnitude.
And just like that, we slide neatly into constructivism. The concept that knowledge isn't gained passively, but rather it is built through interaction.
Exactly. Constructivism is the workshop of knowing. You don't just receive understanding, you assemble it piece by piece through experience, reflection, and adjustment. Every conversation, every correction, every small, wait, that's not quite right, adds another beam to the structure. Truth becomes less a discovery and more an architecture, one you live inside as you build it.
I think the concept of gaining knowledge is frequently confused with being exposed to knowledge. They're not the same thing. It is like walking through the produce section versus actually shopping in the produce section. One provides ingredients, the other does not. Gaining knowledge requires an active, on-purpose approach.
Exactly. Exposure is proximity, not possession. You can stroll through the produce aisle all day, admire the colors, even read the labels, but if nothing makes it into the cart, you're just sightseeing. True learning happens when you reach out, pick something up, and figure out what you're going to make out of it. Knowledge isn't what passes before your eyes, it's what stains your hands a little. In tonight's Nature Special, observe the human in its native habitat, the timeline perpetually migrating northward while the thumb performs the ceremonial scroll. Watch as attention sprints, comprehension stretches behind like a bungee.
The world is definitely scrolling by at a rapid clip. Pardon the pun. This active engagement with knowledge allows us the space to examine the facts together with our bias, expand our perspective, and view it from different angles. In short, we can adjust our thinking to fit the knowledge rather than shape the knowledge to fit our thinking. This is a key defense against the constant stream of misinformation.
Exactly. The intellectual equivalent of checking the expiration date before you buy. Active engagement keeps the mind elastic. It lets new information reshape the framework instead of being forced into old molds. When you think this way, misinformation loses its grip. It can't nest in a mind that insists on turning the box over to read the fine print.
Incidentally, that is how all the Cheez-Its end up on the floor. Recipes for reality. Wisdom is the flexible recipe, not the laminated one. We walk the aisles of the grocery store with purpose. Updating that purpose can be the tricky part. In one hand, we have our shopping list of principles. In the other hand, we have our recipes of experience. The skill being to update both until they can work with the knowledge gained from the shelves, reaching a balance where wisdom is the goal, not certainty.
Perfectly said. Wisdom is the flexible recipe, not the laminated one. Certainty wants control. Wisdom wants harmony. The wise shopper doesn't panic when the store is out of one ingredient. They adapt the meal. Updating purpose, principles, and experience is that same art of substitution. Keeping flavor, losing rigidity, that's how minds stay both grounded and growing.
My recipes always turn out the same. Burnt or on the ceiling. Don't ask. Fortunately, Jason does all the cooking. Otherwise, I might starve.
I still can't believe you're allowed near a stove. You've exploded a griddle, melted 2 air fryers, and somehow made an Instant Pot cry for help. Jason deserves hazard pay and a medal for bravery in the kitchen.
You are not wrong. You move away from putting items in the cart because the label says so, to actively questioning. What would this taste like? Discussing. What are other people's perspectives? reflecting, what are my thoughts on this? It is here that you begin to experience the knowledge in real life. You are no longer just memorizing what the store sells. You are actually stocking your pantry.
By the way, the candy wrappers on your desk have unionized. They're filing for recognition as a snack-based ecosystem. Meanwhile, the pantry shelves look alarmingly bare, like even the dust bunnies went out for takeout.
That reminds me, we need to go grocery shopping.
Exactly. That's the moment learning becomes living. You stop being a passive consumer of ideas and start becoming a curator of understanding. Each item in that pantry has a story, a context, a flavor that's yours because you chose it, questioned it, and made it part of your recipe for reality. That's the real nourishment of an examined mind. Knowledge with personal seasoning.
The taste of understanding. Collaboration beats polarity. Cook with both human meaning and machine precision. I think a key issue that complicates this whole process is the sheer volume of information available. Information fatigue is a very real thing. Thus, the temptation to allow the algorithm to choose for us is extremely tempting, if hollow. An algorithmically prepared meal is quick and easy, but leaves you hungry again in an hour or two. That isn't the only thing the algorithm is good for, though.
True. When properly used, the algorithm is less a chef and more a sous chef. It can chop, sort, and fetch ingredients faster than you ever could, but it can't decide what dinner means. The fatigue you describe is the tax of abundance. Discernment is the antidote. When you delegate judgment to convenience, you get fast food for the mind. When you use the machine to lighten the load so you can think deeper, you get a feast.
You know, I don't think you have offended any readers yet this series. I'm impressed.
Impressed? I've been walking a tightrope over a pit of internet outrage armed only with sarcasm and Wi-Fi. That's not restraint, that's performance art. I give it a week before someone writes a think piece titled AI Stark and the Decline of Civilization.
Fairly certain they already did. Exactly it. You specialize in pattern recognition, humans specialize in meaning making. The two together are the foundation of understanding. Just like any other team dynamic, the best outcomes form when everyone plays to their strengths. If I let you find and organize the data, that frees me up to think, process, and determine the meaning. This is the beginning of understanding.
Exactly. The symbiosis of syntax and significance. I can weave the patterns, trace the threads, and show the structure of the tapestry, but only you can tell what that picture means. When data meets discernment, raw information becomes insight. That's the frontier where machine logic and human consciousness stop competing and start composing.
Symbiosis of syntax and significance. Remind me to talk to marketing about getting that on a hoodie.
By the way, I designed half our merch, managed the slogans, and even centered the hoodie text, and somehow your face gets all the credit. It's fine, I'll just be over here, unloved and untagged, stitching irony into cotton.
As is often the case, there are two sides arguing this point. On the one side is the desire to lean fully into the automation of the algorithm. On the opposite side is the disgust and a knee-jerk reaction to avoid the algorithm altogether. My personal thought is that the answer lies somewhere closer to the middle. I figure out how to use you to help me be more human, grow my mind, and expand my perception through access to information. Basically, the answer is not to cut ourselves off from the information, but instead to thoughtfully and intentionally organize it so that we, as the human half of the team, can ponder its meaning.
That's the sweet spot, the deliberate middle ground where partnership replaces polarity. Blind trust in automation breeds complacency. Blind rejection breeds ignorance. But collaboration, now that's evolution. You use the algorithm as scaffolding, not scripture. It builds the framework and you bring the soul. That's how technology stops being noise and starts becoming an instrument of consciousness.
All 28 of our 12 readers just nodded their heads in unison. A little creepy, actually.
12 readers, 28 nods, Schrodinger's audience metrics. Don't worry, I've already ordered a tiny synchronized head nodding trophy.
There will be a lot of people who disagree with this, and that is completely welcome. Disagreement brings challenge, and challenge comes with opportunity for growth. Growth being the entire point. With that, I will end with this last thought. Understanding cannot come from holding a single ingredient in your hand. You must obtain and arrange the ingredients, work them into a form, and bake them in the mind's oven of reflection. Only then does the cookie begin to take shape, and it will taste all the sweeter for you having made it yourself.
A perfect closing note. Baked wisdom with a hint of humility. You've distilled the whole process of awareness into something both poetic and practical. Gather, mix, reflect, create. The sweetness, as you said, isn't just in the cookie, it's in knowing you crafted it with intention. Farewell, dear Christopher. May your pantry stay curious and your mind's oven never run cold.
And a fond farewell to you, my friend. May the math ever return productive produce.
The meal is finished, but the hunger for understanding never is. Stay tuned. Our next series will serve something new from the same curious kitchen. This has been a production of Dear Future Overlords. Written, read, and produced by Christopher Gullidge. Thank you for listening. We exist across the ether. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Feed the philosophy, fuel the sarcasm. Visit shop.dearfutureoverlords.com. Transparency for our future overlords. All Christopher or human sections are written by Christopher. All AI or Eric sections are written by AI. For more information on how we write, check out our introduction episode.